So my family and friends know me notoriously for getting lost. I wasn't lying when I was talking to the children. Excuse me. The story that I'm about to share happened many years ago, and the family has not ever forgotten this time. At the time, I was living in Memphis, Tennessee, and I was going back to Michigan to visit family with my cousin and her family. And on our way home, we decided to attend the Chicago food show at the McCormick Place. It was one of our favorite events that we loved to always go to. We had a wonderful visit with the family, had a great time, and we also had a great time at the food show. Then it was time to head back to Memphis. It was late. It was dark, really dark outside, and we all had to be to work in the first thing in the morning. I had to report to the restaurant at 10 a.m. Now, mind you, this is the day way before GPS, and back then we used what they called the road maps. You know the kind? The good old road maps, yes, the kind that fold out, take up the whole front seat, and then you can never really get them back together quite the same. Usually you're behind your glove boxes filled with them and so forth, so you get the picture. So before falling asleep, my cousin Debbie carefully explained the directions and emphasized, Jackie, stay south. Just stay south. And it was dark out, remember? But I felt confident I could do this. I knew I could do this. So I'm cruising along just fine until I came to a point where the highway splits. And one direction went south, and the other direction was something south-ish, I guess. I tried waking up Debbie, my cousin. She was out cold, so I made a choice. Actually, I was really proud of myself because I thought, a really good choice. And that is until I started to see the St. Louis arches in the distance. Even I knew we weren't heading to Memphis. I didn't want to wake Deb for obvious reasons, so I gently poked her husband and asked Greg, is that the St. Louis arches? Or arch, I should say. And you can imagine how well that went over in our car ride. Yes, we made it back to Memphis. It was 11 a.m., and I was dropped off at my job wearing the same clothes from before. We were exhausted. And let's just say my cousin and her husband, they were a bit grumpy. Just a bit. They were a bit grumpy there. And as I got out of the car, I heard them mumble, we are never taking her with us again. But no fear. They take me all the time. And when I drive, they make sure someone else is awake as we go. So getting lost that night, it was a disaster. It was a big disaster. It was stressful. It was exhausting. And it really completely ruined my plans by sleeping in my bed for a couple hours and at least getting a shower and a change of clothes. But it gave my family a story to share for years. But I have to say that experience, it woke me up. You see, getting lost has a way of doing that. It forces us to pay attention. And it reminds us that maybe, just maybe, we need help finding the way. And you know what? Jesus knew that too. You remember from our gospel reading that we just heard this morning, Jesus saying, whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves, take up their cross daily, and follow me. You see, this passage is one of Jesus' most defining statements about discipleship. And it comes really at a critical turning point in Luke's gospel. Because you see, just before these words, Peter declares that Jesus is the Messiah. But instead of affirming Peter with promises of power or even a reward, Jesus begins talking. And he begins talking about suffering, denial, death. And Jesus completely redefines what it really means to follow him. You see, in the ancient world, especially under the Roman rule, the cross was not a metaphor. It was very real. It was a brutal instrument of execution. So to say, take up your cross would have been shocking at that time. because it meant public shame, sacrifice, and it meant surrender. So when Jesus uses this language, he isn't offering a feel-good invitation. See, this message from Jesus is challenging a culture, both then and, if we're really honest, even today. And it's obsessed with a culture that's obsessed with self-preservation and self-promotion and even with comfort. So to deny ourselves, to take up our cross and follow Jesus really means swimming upstream in a world that encourages us to focus only on our own success, our pleasures. Some might even throw in security. So Jesus isn't suggesting that we might just get lost. Jesus is inviting us to lose ourselves on purpose. If we want a real life that's deeper, fully, and more freer than anything we would chase on our own, we need to let go. We have to get lost. And I mean get lost in Jesus. And friends, that's not an easy thing to do. And the thing I love about Jesus doesn't sugarcoat it. He tells us straight up, if we want to be his disciples, then we truly need to follow him. But it's going to cost us something. Jesus calls us to deny ourselves, take up our cross daily, and to follow. And in doing so, he gives us a strange promise. He says, it's only by losing our lives for his sake that we actually find them. So let's lean into that a little bit today. And let's just not hear it, but let's actually move on it. Let's sit on it. Let's wrestle with it. And my hope is that it begins to shape us. So Jesus begins, deny yourself. And the thing I really want to make you understand clearly is that doesn't mean that you don't matter. What it means is you're no longer the center of your universe. And I know that hurts sometimes. And what it also means is giving up the need to always be in control, always being right, always getting your own way. For instance, imagine yourself at work, or even at home, I'd say, and someone says something that really cuts deep. Something that really sounds unfair, and everything in you just wants to strike back. But instead, you pause. You remember Jesus' word, to turn the other cheek, to bless those who curse you, to love your enemies. And instead of responding with anger, you respond with grace. That's what denying yourself is like. It's letting go of the need to be right so that you are made whole. It's choosing the way of Jesus when everything you want to choose brings you pride. And that's hard. It's hard to let go of all of that. But you see, in the quiet afterward, we may feel a kind of peace that you didn't expect. That kind that comes from knowing that you chose the better way. See, denying yourself also means surrendering your need to be in control of the outcome. And if you like that, you need to be there. You need to control it. Oh, can't do that, so I got to control it. It's trusting, though, that God with your reputation, it's trusting God with your resources, it's even trusting God with your relationships. And it means living as if Jesus is actually trustworthy and that Jesus' way will lead you to something better than what you could ever imagine. It's also about realizing that the self that we're called to deny is often shaped by fear, ego, self-interest, not the self that God created us to be. So denying that false self makes room for the true self, that true self that is created in God's image to come alive. Then Jesus says, take up your cross daily. And to Jesus' first listeners, the cross wasn't a symbol of devotion. It was a symbol of shame, sacrifice. And Jesus wasn't talking about a minor inconvenience or just have a bad day. No, Jesus is talking about a way of life that's marked by self-giving love. So let me ask you, are you willing? Are you willing to take that kind of path daily? And I'm not just talking about once in a grand gesture. Say, hey, look at me, I'm doing it, right? But in a small, faithful, step-by-step decision. And maybe that means showing up to care for someone who can't repay you. Maybe it means forgiving someone again. Or maybe it means being present with someone in pain, even when it's uncomfortable. You see, that's discipleship. Taking up your cross daily also means laying down your preferences, especially when someone else needs to be heard. It means setting aside personal agendas for the sake of unity. It's learning to be inconvenienced for the sake of compassion and to see sacrifice not as a loss, but instead as love in action. And it also means staying close to Jesus, even when the journey gets difficult. Because honestly, some days that cross is heavy. And some days we feel like just quitting. But Jesus calls us to endurance, to trust what he's building in us that's worth the weight that we carry. See, taking up our cross reminds us that love is not passive. It requires effort. It costs something. But it also transforms us and the world around us. See, the cross is not just about death, it's about the kind of life that rises from the grave. And then Jesus says, follow me. Sounds so simple, doesn't it? Come, follow me. But I have to tell you, that's the hardest part. To follow means to stop leading, to let yourself go. Let go of those maps and to trust that Jesus knows the way. Because the truth is, sometimes we want Jesus to follow us. Let's be honest, right? We want Jesus like, follow me. I got a cool idea, follow me. We want Jesus to bless our plans and just show up where we have already decided that we want to go. But you see, here's the thing. Jesus doesn't say, oh, just call me and invite me to your journey. Jesus says, leave your path. Leave your path and come on mine. And that's the difference between being a churchgoer and being a disciple. See, church going can be a habit. It can turn into a routine. But don't get me wrong, it's a good habit. We love seeing you here. We love having you here with us via live stream because it is a good habit. But you see, there's a difference with discipleship. Discipleship, it's active, it's intentional, and honestly, it costs something. Did you know that you can go to church every week and never actually follow Jesus? Think of that. Think of that. But when you decide to follow, when you start asking Jesus not to just to bless your life, but to lead it, now that's everything. And that's when change begins to happen. Excuse me. Following Jesus means saying yes before you even know where Jesus is going to send you. And let me tell you, those are the adventures. When you just let go and just say, Jesus, lead me. Lead the path. You never know where you're going to go. Could be in Henderson, Nevada. You never know. Things happen when you let go and you say, Jesus, lead the way. It means trusting the road when it's foggy and believing Jesus is good even when life is not easy. It means worshiping even when you just don't feel like it. You ever feel that way on Sunday mornings? Oh, you got to do that again? I know. I feel that way sometimes too, I'll be honest. But it really means staying faithful when the feelings fade and pressing on even when you feel stuck. It means living with your eyes wide open, looking for where Jesus is already at work in you, around you. It's in your neighborhood. It's at school. It's with family. It's a posture of availability that says, here I am, Lord. Use me. Following Jesus also means listening for the voice. Listening for the Lord's voice through Scripture, through prayer, through the Spirit's nudging. And it means slowing down enough to notice where God is already moving and actually joining in. Because what Jesus offers, it isn't just survival. It's life. It's life abundant. It's life meaningful. It's joyful. It's a surrendered life. And yes, I'll be honest, it's going to stretch you. It's going to be hard. but it's also going to shape you. You'll notice the change. Because true life isn't found by tightly holding on to what we know. It's found in when we let go, when we lose our lives for Christ's sake and discover who we really are. So let me ask you this. What are you afraid of letting go? What's one step you can take today to follow Jesus more fully? And you don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to be perfect. Thank goodness for that, right? All you have to do is say yes. Yes to getting a little lost. Yes to trusting the one who knows the way. Yes to becoming a disciple. Yes to trusting the one who knows you and the direction you need to go. Yes to becoming a disciple, not just a churchgoer. Because today's a good day to stop going to church. Today's a good day to start following Jesus. So let's be clear. As I said before, church going isn't a bad thing. It's a good and faithful practice. But being a churchgoer is not the same as being a disciple. Church going often is about attendance. But discipleship, it's about allegiance. Church going can make us feel comfortable. But discipleship, it can make us feel courageous. Church going may shape our habits, but discipleship transforms our hearts. See, there's a danger when we confuse the two of them. When we think that we're following Jesus simply because we're just sitting in a pew or watching online, singing the hymns, hearing the word, but then we just walk out the door or we shut off the live stream and nothing's changed. See, Jesus isn't just inviting us to believe in him. Jesus is inviting us to become like him. That's the essence of discipleship. A disciple doesn't just show up. A disciple steps in. A disciple isn't content to watch ministry happen. A disciple gets engaged. You see, and a disciple doesn't keep faith private. They live it out through love, through service, through sacrifice, through stories. So the question isn't, did I go to church this week? The better question, did I follow Jesus this week? Did I reflect Jesus' heart, extend his grace, seek his guidance? Did I embody Jesus' love this week? We can attend every Sunday and still miss the call of Jesus if we're not willing to follow. But you see, the good news is that it's never too late to shift from this churchgoer to being a disciple. The invitation is always open. The road is always available. The grace is always enough. So when you leave here today, I invite you to carry this with you. Jesus' invitation is not just for Sunday mornings. Did you hear that? The invitation isn't just for Sunday. We're done, you go. It's not that way. It's for that ride home. It's for the conversations at lunch or even dinner. And it's for when you're back in your office or you're in your classroom or even sitting around the kitchen table. It's in those places, the ordinary places where discipleship is either practiced or it's forgotten. We either react from our ego or we respond with the grace of Christ. So this week, I invite you, please pause, ask yourself, am I following Jesus right now? In this decision, this response, in this very moment. And let Jesus' words echo. If anyone would come after me, let them deny themselves, take up their cross, and follow me. Not just once, not when it's convenient, but daily. The beauty of following Jesus is that you never walk alone. Think of that. You never walk alone. Jesus doesn't call us to a journey of perfection, but a journey of presence. God's presence. And that presence will sustain us and guide us and give us the courage for whatever that lies ahead of us. So what if this week you made a space just a little bit, just to get lost? Not in distraction, but actually getting lost on purpose. Lost in love for your neighbor. lost in forgiveness that sets you both free, lost in wonder at how God is working around you, within you. Because when you choose that kind of lostness, that you might find that kind of life you didn't even know you were looking for. So as you step back into your week, whether it's into the traffic, the noise, or even that silence, remember this. Following Jesus isn't about adding another thing to your list. It's not an inconvenience. It's allowing Jesus' way to shape everything in it. And it's about turning everyday moments, even as simple as pouring the morning coffee, the email you're sending, or even the kindness that you show. That's part of the discipleship. It's about letting Christ's voice be the one that you hear above all the rush, the one that steadies your heart, especially when things feel uncertain. And again, no, you don't have to have the answers. And you don't need a map for every step that you're going to take. All you need is willingness to follow. So trust that Christ is already present where you are, not waiting for you to catch up, but walking with you right now. So may you go not with all the certainty in the world, but with the courage to take that next step. And may you lose yourself in the kind of love that looks like service, sacrifice, and even surprising joy. And may you find this week, in losing yourself that way, that you never feel more fully alive. Amen? Amen.